AngusArt Entertainment has rated this video a 14 for young adult audiences. It contains language that may not be suitable for younger viewers. Discretion is therefore advised.
My video sound system goes on my bag raffle.
Has anyone seen Sam? I know you guys said he'd be on his way here, but he wouldn't want to be late for our presentation.
He said he would be a moment, Scotty. Something about some new faces that were coming to help us this time.
I saw him in the hallway a minute ago. Get ready, we're about to get a little crowded in here.
Hello everybody. Here we are.
Hey there, Sam. We're ready to roll whenever you are.
Yes, but who are the new guys you brought with you?
Yes. Let's have them introduce themselves.
I am Microsoft Catherine, the new studio nurse. It is a pleasure to meet you all.
And I'm Microsoft Richard. I cover payroll and all other accounting transactions.
And I am Microsoft James. How do you all do today?
Wait a minute, Sam. You didn't tell us you had a butler. Or chauffeur. Or something.
My bag. As if I could afford one. No. James is my next door neighbor, and he wanted to see how we do things in this studio.
Well, it's certainly a pleasure to meet you all. We can do more introductions as we start the art summary. I will say this, though. It's going to feel good to do this. To put a positive stamp on an otherwise stressful year.
You can say that again, Mike. Despite what Angus has been through, just like most everyone else, I'm sure he's more than happy to have us show his highlights from 2020.
Thanks for reminding me, Anna. Since most people refer to the year as 2020, as in the same number twice, I thought it would be fun to pair everyone up for each month. You have your month drawn from the hat. You got your partner. Everybody team up and let's get started. And Simon, do you have our yearly tradition?
I most certainly do, Sam, and it's a good one too. Hello, viewers and newcomers. I am Simon, and for this year's art summary trivia question, we are talking about milestones. In this case, what he calls the fastest 250 favorites. Very few of his images get that high up so quickly. But this year, he celebrates a new personal best. The fastest 250 faves. Which image in Angus's gallery set his own record? The answer, along with earlier instances, will be revealed after all the month's highlights are featured. Now, who has the first selection?
That's us. Hello, I'm Microsoft David, and together with Microsoft Zira, we present to you the piece for January. In fact, it started off the new year.
Correct, David. It was a call back to a meme from 2 years prior, and asks the question. Whatever happened to that? Knuckles.
What started as a Robotnik image turned into a revisit with one of the short squished versions of the red echidna shown here, regretting the choice he made to start 2018. Forget the singing they said, the funny accent will get you far they said. Phooey.
Gone are the Goofy movie quotes, the ones from the Ugandan film, Who Killed Captain Alex? Gone too, is the controversy in some of the noises and other things anyone in VR chat would do while playing as the video game models.
Someone who commented on this image must have said it best when they stated how that little guy lost his way.
Yes, David, he most certainly did. And one thing's for sure, he's glad to be rid of it. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, Johnny, we're next. Are you sure you can do this without flipping out? Flippin' hell, I told you I can do this. There's a reason I wanted to help with this one and it sure isn't for the cravings. Okay, don't fry your brain. Hello, I'm Andy. For February, Johnny and I bring a crossover gag for one of Angus's favorite online activities. It's a fun mix as a different character takes over to spoof a scene from one of the Jackbox party packs. It's called Felix Splits the Room. Split the Room is out of Party Pack 5 and is hosted by an animated cat character. But here, it's the classic cartoon feline that dons the suit and invites players to join us. The game is played by creating strange scenarios from prompts by making the decision so tough that other players could choose either option. The more the group is split, the more points you get. It is certainly a different game. Best played with answers that make a person think, not necessarily humorous answers. It's fun to throw some serious curveballs when playing it. Curveballs, my ass! The last time we played it, you threw in all sorts of bacon-related answers, just like in Quick-Lash. Amphibious. Not to mention the designs you drew in TKO. At least in TKO, you had other people's captions to deliver nonsensical twists.
Alright you two, break it up. Sorry about that, folks. I'm Microsoft Mark, and speaking of nonsensical twists, Microsoft Eva and I have a rather comedic offering for March.
The idea was inspired by a feature in car commercials Angus saw online. A luxury feature they called Napa Leather. What is Napa Leather, you may ask? Well, whatever it is, it certainly can't be this sight gag that Angus made.
Inspired more by the so-called, abridged, episodes of Dragon Ball Z, dubbed by a group called Team 4 Star, Angus threw in a face and haunting taunt that left Vegeta wondering. What the hell was I thinking when I picked this option?
I'm not sure I'd want a car that gave me that feature. Who wants to have that face staring at you and annoying you as you drive through busy city streets?
That's true, but then again, you never have to worry about needing a passenger in a carpool lane.
I'll bet that would baffle the police if they ever pull you over. Ha 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 ha!
Unfortunately, the highlight for April is on a more serious note. Hello, I'm Radar Overseer Scotty. For our selection, Beulah and I will present this. The Rick May Tribute.
Rick May had experience in the theater and a handful of screen appearances, but he found his calling in voice acting and was well known for a couple of key video game voices. One of which was Peppy Hare in Nintendo's Star Fox 64.
Do a barrel roll!
The other would come much later as the soldier in Valve's big hit, Team Fortress 2. This image, entitled A Moment of Silence, pays tribute to May, who fought throat cancer prior to contracting the coronavirus.
The microphone placement in this image, that's a bit of a solemn reference, right?
Yes, Beulah, that's right. Sometimes, Angus would see other voice actor tributes, done in the classic, speechless style in reference to the scene of a mess of characters that were voiced by Mel Blanc, who died in 1989.
So that's where I'd seen the reference before. The anti-mic tribute pieces always seem to get to me.
Yes. While the corona scare continued through the year, Angus was safe and picking the mood up from there for the most part. I'm Microsoft Mike, and with Microsoft Mary, we will pick things up as well, with a meme that Angus put up in May.
By no coincidence, the meme Angus made was the focus on others. In fact, the authoring was called, "Please Explain Your Meme." Just like the previous pick, it was assembled in Gary's mod, but this time, we get the version of Knuckles from Cartoon Network's Sonic Boom. There were video memes that show him looking over papers and approving them, but everything altered, so that he would review memes, which could either be approved or denied.
With a few props found in Gmod, Angus has Knuckles looking over one paper in particular, not being able to make heads or tails out of it. This could be taken as a meme that baffled him, as some do with us, but then again, wasn't Knuckles made out to be kind of, well, not so bright in boom?
That's what I heard. I'm sure the fan base would much rather see him with brains along with brawn, but this is what they got in that series.
Okay, who's next for June? Anyone have June?
Well now. Been a while since you both showed up. Not long enough, but still.
Crabbit, Spotty, we have a bone to pick with someone in this room.
He's been like this ever since one of you turned his very creation against him a year ago. Which one of you was it?
Oh dear. I was afraid of this.
So, decided to come back for another failure, have you?
So you're the one?
Ouch. That is literal hell on the shin. Ow.
You had that coming, you little shit. No one turns my creations against me and gets away with it.
What is all this about? Whatever it is, you're paying for it, not us.
Last year, he sent a creature to assist us in taking everyone in this studio down to our realm, souls and all. He called it the Psycho Drill, but something went wrong, thanks to the kid who gave him the runaround.
That's right. My nephew, George, called you out for promising the drill power, but giving him bollocks. And he was right. You even go so far as to deceive your own creations, don't you?
It is in our nature, yes, but to be called out, as you said, we hate being exposed. It took a long time for my ass to heal when the Psycho Drill zapped me repeatedly, so now, it's revenge time. I don't think so. You should realize that there is a price to pay for your treachery, be it against my children of the earth, or the very creations you spawn. Oh no you don't. I will not be denied my revenge. I have waited too long, for this moment.
It certainly didn't help that everyone was laying dormant. We started to think that they called it quits after that day.
We didn't call it quits. We celebrated a subscriber milestone earlier in the year. You were just butthurt because announcements like that don't last as long as these summary slideshows.
You just had to say butthurt, didn't you, smartass?
Another one makes the list. Let's just take them all and have done with it.
Forget it. You made your own punishment by lying to your creation. Allow me to give you a reminder of that.
George. Are you all right?
I think so, Aunt Hazel. But the shin's burning like a bugger.
Not to worry, George. I rushed to the office to get something for your shin while those demons were ranting. I'll tend to the pain quickly.
And I'll give a little something to remove the heat from Lucifer's kick. Together, we will see that he doesn't scar you at all.
There's just one thing. We seem to still be missing someone for the June selection.
Allow me, while it's not a subject I usually take lightly, the pick Angus submitted in June was in response to a YouTube video by SMG4, Shroomy, a demon among us. SMG4's videos seem to inspire artists everywhere, so no surprise that Angus's take on the split personality of his mushroom spout character got some positive feedback, just like earlier picks he had done in response to the videos. In the story, Shroomy's hostility was brought out after too much abuse from others, the last straw. Things were back to normal after a while, but that side still surfaces now and then, mostly for more dark comedic violence. Now, I have done my part in healing George's shin, while presenting that image. You will soon be back to normal with Catherine's help. Now, if you will excuse me, I have business to tend to elsewhere, but know that I shall be watching over you always, just like everywhere else. Blessed art thou all.
Thanks again. Though I don't know if you're quite ready for this, George, as we did draw for the July pick.
Like they say, Aunt Hazel, the show must go on. That said, let's take the time to do this while I'm healing. And the July selection is called Saxton's Hales. Marvin the Martian. Ever think of a character that could be a Hale boss in Team Fortress 2? Well, there have been lots of character models battling with red teams, and Angus had the idea of bringing other Gmod models he found onto a stage, where they could audition to become the next boss.
Angus had the idea of the Looney Tunes alien running around the maps, zapping the red fighters. Since Hale bosses have rage meters that fill up with damage taken, the question comes up here as to what Marvin's rage would be. The popular Looney Tunes characters have entertained generations, so it would only be fitting that someone brought in any of those antagonists.
It felt good to get through that. My leg is feeling much better now.
I'm glad to hear that, George. Still, best to take it easy for a while.
That's good advice, Catherine. Even with divine help, even injuries like that take time to heal completely.
Not to worry, dear auntie. Wild horses couldn't keep me from doing my part.
Speaking of horses, George, I've been meaning to ask. What is that horse logo on your shirt? Are you a fan of the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown?
Good guess, Scotty, but no. It is an old design used for one of the albums by my dad's favorite band, Ultravox. They were big in the 80s, and this was featured for their 1981 album, Rage in Eden.
So that's what it is. Good to know. Well now Sam, are you ready for the next image?
You bet, Anna. Yes, it is I, Microsoft Sam, and since the July pick was related to Looney Tunes, and I will keep the reference going with the August selection. Gimme back my bullets. During the year, a series of new Looney Tunes cartoons began airing through HBO Max, their streaming service. Many were quick to notice that, even though there were still hunting scenes with Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny, the big difference was that Elmer no longer had his shotgun. Sure, there was a cannon, and Bugs tormented him with dynamite, but shotguns and pistols were no longer shown like they were during the classic theatrical run.
Elmer was not the only gun-toting character during the classic shorts. Yosemite Sam used to have them all the time, but for the new series, that was out. At one point, Angus came up with this image after bumping across the song, "Gimme Back My Bullets" by Leonard Skinner. Now that band was not one that Angus normally listens to, but upon hearing the song, he could see Elmer and Yosemite Sam performing it together, as sort of a message to their bosses at Warner Brothers. At the last minute, Angus decided to further the humor by giving Elmer a guitar shaped like the famous Warner shield.
Now that would be a fun Looney Tunes blooper idea. Wouldn't you agree, Sam?
You may be right, Mike, but best to leave that to Dave Madsen. He's been doing those for so long, 200 videos from that series under his belt, so I think we're better off just doing the spoof videos that we've been doing. Okay you two. You've seen what we've been doing here, and you've seen what you're presenting for September. Are you ready?
Well, I made some last-minute notes to understand it all, but I think we're set. Catherine, if you would start, please.
You accountants and your paperwork, ha 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 ha. Anyway, yes, I am Microsoft Catherine, and Richard and I are ready to show you the September selection. Sonic, a faker among us. During the year, there was an increased interest in an online game called Among Us, where you and a team of astronauts have to find out who the imposter is that's butchering the crew. Angus was gifted this game by another during this time, and sure enough, it sparked the idea of going into Gary's mod and pitting Sonic the Hedgehog in a room with other hedgehogs. The caption reads that, quote, "There is one faker among us," unquote.
It is common knowledge to the fans of Sonic's games about the faker dialogue between him and Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2. However, since anyone in Among Us can be an imposter, this submission puts a whole new spin on who the faker might be. Well, Catherine, one way or another, I guess someone's about to make others eat their words, am I right?
Spot on, Richard. I can hear the classic game dialogue being used in the emergency meetings.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. I had pipes to fix and clean up after when I heard the commotion from down the hall. Is everyone okay? Is there a mess to mop up around here?
Before you get to that, Janitor Jack, our turn is next. It's time to show what the October highlight is to the art summary.
Time for that again, eh? Well, okay, Harvey, but you better start it off. I don't know much about the first part.
Sure thing. Hello, this is Harvey Zilf, and together with Janitor Jack, we bring you not one, but two selections for October. A Halloween double reading. It's a personal challenge for Angus to try and make a Halloween reading on DeviantArt, because every year he wants to work with two aspects that he hadn't put in such a reading before, a way of mixing it up every time. This year, he ended up doing two of them. One idea was brought up in chat with a fellow deviant, who visualized a possibility with three characters from the Sonic universe, known as the Hooligans. Fang the Sniper, Bark the Polar Bear, and Beam the Dynamite are featured here, dressed as characters from the classic anime franchise, Lupin the Third, and they're planning a heist in about as close to Lupin's style as they can. Angus had never drawn up the Hooligans before, so to him, this was indeed a challenge.
While that crossover idea was given to him, Angus had another one in mind that he also decided to put on display. This mashup went a different direction than of the video game theme. It starts basic enough with Pac-Man as well as part of his maze. But it surprises the yellow chomper to see astronauts instead of the usual ghosts sporting the same colors. Yes, generation paths cross as Pac-Man meets Among Us. So, with that in mind, which ghost is the imposter?
We now come to the November image. Hello. I'm Lernout and Homsky Michael. My sister Michelle and I are here to present the selection for that month.
While not the most popular image during the month, Angus felt it fitting when you consider one of the animated series of the 90s that were getting a reboot. With this, he came up with Warner Siblings, Canadian. Scroll back through Angus's YouTube video slideshows, and you'll see a series that turned many characters into versions modeled after the flatulent South Park Canadians, Terrence and Philip.
One of the animated reboots from the 90s was Animaniacs, the wild and zany series that featured lots of hilarious characters, but the main highlights were the Warner brothers and the Warner sister. Here, we see Dot, Yakko and Wacko, out on the studio lot, their water tower home in the background. A series return like that certainly deserves a nod, and Angus dusted off his Canadianator to do just that.
I've always wondered how we would look in that Terrence and Philip style, haven't you, Guy?
I most certainly have, buddy.
Holy crap. Warn us, before you do that again, would you?
Well, it looks like it's the third new guy in me to help bring it on home. I hope Sam gave you some pointers on what we're talking about.
Yes, he did. Go ahead and start it if you would please.
Hello, everyone. This is Sydney. James and I wrap up the summary with a December scene that really grabbed some attention. But it does bring up one question. Can Mario explain?
Anyone who has ever played Super Mario 64 would be quick to note that the hero looks a bit different in this Gary's Mod scene. Anyone who was familiar with any of his animated series will know which one they are looking at. The reason that Princess Peach seems a little uncertain. Yes, Mario's model was done by J.C. Thornton after his cartoon series, thus looking a bit amiss in comparison to the Mario that you normally see in the Nintendo 64 game.
Angus has also enjoyed watching Mario 64 speedruns on Twitch streams, which further inspired him to do this.
Sam has shown me some of those streams as well. It is truly amazing how quickly they get through the game, no question.
And there we have it. The year's summary completed. How did you three enjoy it?
I rather enjoyed that.
As did I. Perhaps I should consider joining you for other projects here, if that's possible.
I think we can work you in on our budget, James. But there is still one more thing to cover, isn't there?
That's right, Richard. The trivia question for the year.
I'm already there, Johnny. Okay, once again, we will bring you this year's trivia question. A new personal best. The fastest 250 faves. Which image in Angus's gallery set his own new record? But this time, we will answer by showing 3 previous record holders. The first note Angus made of a fast 50 faves was in 2012, when this Batman does not meme hit it after 5 months. In 2018, his image of SMG4 Antari, made after her video debut, hit the 50 mark in less than 4 months. When he started 2019 with his Gmod image entitled, A Chungus Among Us, it surprised him to reach the big 5-0, in only a month and a half. That is now the second fastest time for any of his submissions. So what's the new number 1? It just so happens that the new number 1, fastest 250 faves, was the same Gmod scene that was featured for December. Can Mario explain? Was such a hit with the Deviants, that it didn't even take days. The total time? 28 hours. That's right, just over a single day. Angus had never had a submission hit so well on the site before, so we're sure he thinks that will be tough for him to beat.
And there we are. All that's left now is to ride out the rest of the year. I can only hope that 2021 will be better. Heaven knows that 2020 was a ride I would not want to go through again.
You're right about that, Mary. It's hard to say what the future will bring, but no matter what, we cannot lose hope. Even if it takes some kind of miracle, we can get through this. It's just all in the matter of when.
And even though our projects here have been few and far between, one never knows when inspiration will strike. For us, our only hope is to entertain, whether by new videos or by you revisiting our older ones.
So here's to looking forward, in hopes of a brighter future. For all of us at AngusArt Entertainment, we thank you for watching. From all of us, to all of you, let's work together to make the future better for others, and ourselves.
Well, that's another fine mess you got us into. All because you had it in for that snot-nosed little punk.
Don't start with me. I'm pissed off, as it is. It doesn't help that I've got a massive headache now.
Same here. It's like the man upstairs popped my brain into confetti. I don't know how we can feel any worse.
Well now, how did it all go up there? As though I couldn't guess.
Crap.
That good, huh? Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have some news for you.
Really? And what might that be?
It's from the Dark Lord. He wants to see you both as soon as possible. Shall I tell him you need a day to recover? Or a fortnight?
I would fortnight you. If I could only move.
Well, I'll tell him you're busy recuperating. But you know he does not like to be kept waiting. And you especially know how he feels about failure.
Crap, and quadruple crap.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. What an idiot.
This has been a presentation of AngusArt Entertainment. Ouch.